So, my name is Bolo V&R. This is 2.0 platform, and we are here to react to a audio from IRI FM, Caboose program with Mr. Will Rattigan as the guests of the program, and they really went in to the present current state of Jamaica. I did not know that Miss Caboose was um a investigative journalist, and she has some very interesting experiences being an investigative journalist in Jamaica. So, without any further ado, let's find out what Miss Kabul had to say. Where her experiences is concerned with this government on both sides.
Investigated a prime minister. Yes, I investigated a prime minister. Yes, as a journalist, I went into some deep investigation. Investigations that took me out of the island, onto the continent of Africa, and many other places.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to shut my mouth.
Wow.
Because the threats came in left, right, and center.
You hear this?
The man them say, anytime I come off of this plane, I set foot in Jamaica, if it's a book me coming to talk about, then there is no way that I'm going to leave alive. Yes, that happened.
The Prime Minister lied. And these are not my words. I'm just paraphrasing what the investigator, the director of investigation said in his report. So the Prime Minister lied. There are issues regarding a bond, a $94,000 bond. There are issues regarding conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
There are issues regarding his affiliate,
not my words,
and interaction with 5 companies.
Mm-hmm.
There are issues concerning the bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
There are issues concerning the illicit enrichment in and of itself. There are issues concerning a loan made by Barita.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? What?
All right, we're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa. I'm going to be speaking in a little while to Wilfred Rattigan, attorney at law and a former FBI agent.
Yes, sir.
We're still this morning, focusing on the Integrity Commission report. As I said last week, I've read the report, and I read it 3 times up to last week. And knowing that I was going to do the program, continue the discussion this morning with Wilfred Rattigan, I thought to myself, let me read it again, and I ended up reading it twice.
Right.
So it's 3 and 2, 5 times now. So
Wow.
I've read this report. I understand my personality. Let me just get this out there straight, because after last week's program, I must say that for a very long time, I've never had such a backlash in my interpretation of a document.
Wow.
Right. So that aside, that said, I had online with me attorney at law, Casey Valrenita Robertson, and she also agreed with me in part. As a matter of fact, one of the things that happened on this program last week is that we both agreed. I had asked her if, having gone through and looked at the document, if it wasn't necessary now, considering the confusion, to have the Integrity Commission, the members of the Integrity Commission, at a press conference taking questions from journalists. And she said, no, I would like to see them before the committee in Parliament answering questions. And it wasn't much later, I think it was a day after or 2 days after in the week, that very same thing came up in Parliament. And we understand now that the commission members, the commissioners, will be going before Parliament. I think it is important. I still maintain that the report leaves too much room for speculation. So I'm going to go back to my own personality, which is the isness of things. Obviously, that is a character trait. That is my personality. That's how I see life. I deal with what is, and this is why I always say it is what it is. and I really don't have no time for the flowers and no time for the fluffy, frilly things. I don't see them now. That is a personality thing. I understand that. I have been trying to manage that side of my personality, so I can say that. So I have a document in my hand, and this is what I have. Prior knowledge don't come into it at all. When I'm reading a document like that, I do not know anything. Because my thing is what's the document trying to achieve? So I am reading the black and white, the ink on the paper. That is what I'm reading. What I see, that is what I'm understanding. I am not going to go in the minds of anybody at all, because this is not a literature test to say what was the poet thinking.
Right.
So this is how the IC report is reading to me.
Yes.
Like when I get a poem, do not go something another into the night. You remember that poem? rage, and you get a question. What was the poet thinking? No, it's not a literature test.
Exactly.
It's a document that comes out of a constitutional body.
Right.
That is very important because you're talking about an investigation into the Prime Minister.
Right.
So that is all I know. That is all I have. I do not know anything
Just
else
sticking
apart
to
from
the facts,
this document that
pretty
I have in my
much.
hand. And
Yes.
after reading that document, 5 times now, I still feel the very same way. Now, which is to say that regardless of what we know, outside of what's in the document, if the commissioners not put it in there, whoever is writing that document, if it's not in there, it's not in there.
Exactly.
And do not expect me to come and say it for you. Don't put words in my mouth. No, I'm not going to speculate about what you meant here. I'm not going to speculate about anything, as a matter of fact. All I have is what you've written, what you've given me. I don't have no time for speculation. That is my thing, regardless of anything else. So anyway, that is that. 22 after 7 o'clock. We're going to be speaking with, not right now, but about 7:30, Attorney at Law and former FBI agent, Wilfred Rattigan. I know that Rattigan has been reading the document and has been reporting on it in his media, social media, and other media spaces. I also know that we do not necessarily agree, but we can agree to disagree as my brother Wilfred Rattigan comes online at 7:30. Also, there's another sister that I agree.
Well, that's interesting. What don't they agree on? Now, I've not listened to this in its entirety, ladies and gentlemen. No, I have not. So, indulge my genuine ignorance. All right, in regards to what she's saying, I'm really fascinated to know what she and Mr. Will Rattigan disagree on. Let's go. And listen, it's very, very simple, man. I want to know, will anything change from her stance and his stance on the current state of Jamaica? Are we the Jamaicans? Because I heard this part of it. Rattigan said that we have been acclimated to the corruption in Jamaica. We have gotten so used to it. We're just sitting around not deciding to do anything. Yeah, man, they're corrupt, both sides. It is what it is, and then we're just moving on with our lives. This is the state of mind, and I think he's correct. But I'm saying, is this going to be it forever? We're just going to sit back, be a part of the corruption with the government in any capacity that we are, right? It's the same thing as knowing somebody is doing something illegal, but because you're benefiting from it, you're gonna run with it. Hey, it is what it is, man.
Be with all the time. If you know, you usually hear me say, Donna, I agree. I'll be in the middle of the program and she's writing on the social media spaces and I read it all out and I say, exactly, I agree with every single word there. I don't think there's ever a time that I've ever said, I do not agree until last week. Anyway, so Donna Mattis is going to be on the program this morning also as we look at the document, but also to look at the point Donna raised last week, which was, this is so egregious in terms of what is being what was being investigated, etc., what is sent off to the FID and the THJ, that the least that could be done is for the Prime Minister to step aside while the investigation is underway. And my point to Donna last week was, I called for a system analysis, right? Because the problem we have is systemic. And as it is right now, my belief is that there is none, no, not one, in the whole of the House.
Whoa!
Who is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock. Corruption is corruption around Jamaica. Corruption is in every single nook and cranny. Corruption is a fabric that makes up Jamaica. So if you pull a thread, know which thread you pull, because if you pull it, the whole thing is going to unravel. Before we unravel the thing, I think we must analyze the thing. We don't want a paralysis of analysis, but we have to analyze the thing, and then we have to ensure that we put measures in place, whether we're going to dash out the whole of the fabric, or it can be saved, but no patching can work. So can constitutional reform work? How can we ensure through the Constitution that we make space for anti-corruption laws, and that they not just depend the paper, that in the words of Morley.
Hey, Manal, I see where she's going. She's not saying it all the way through, but basically she has the same stance as the UIC president. And I did a video on that premiered earlier this morning. And it was on my live as well that I did last night. He's saying that both of them is the same thing. Both of them is in all of this together. It's the side. It's two sides of the same coin. And he's saying that Mark Golden and none of them is different. So it's all hypocrisy. It's the trick that they've used forever. Excuse me. Sorry, man. My sinus is going crazy. It's the trick that they've used forever on us. And unfortunately, that's the position of a lot of Jamaicans. And that's why the vote count has gone all the way down. My argument is, if that's your position as a Jamaican, if you can vote, understand that there are now 3 options. There are 3 legit options. The PMP, the JLP, and the UIC. I know this is going to be hard for a lot of people. Y'all don't want to hear this. Hey, a lot of y'all are die-hearted PMP, die-hearted JLP. And a lot of y'all, it's all about who we like. So as soon as you attach yourself to somebody, you start to develop hope that, yes, this person is the person to change everything. But I want to ask y'all the question. I mean, isn't that the emotional roller coaster we've been through with both these parties over the years? Isn't that what it has been? Isn't that why so many of the Jamaican people have not voted? Because you have developed an immunity to the games that both sides have played, and you have decided, you know what, I'm not even going to vote. So I'm talking to those people. I'm talking to those people that are undecided, that really don't want to vote because they don't see anything to vote for. I want to encourage you to go and read the manifesto of the UIC, uicjamaica.com. uicjamaica.com. Go on the website, read the manifesto, learn about the party. Yes, they have their issues, whatever. Learn about all of it. Go into a deep dive. You can go on their program, their YouTube, and you can ask Mr. Patterson whatever you want to ask. You can have a discussion with him. He's open to discussions. But at least, ladies and gentlemen, go and have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm with Kabu. I would love to see a whole, total, just everything. Get rid of everything, rebuild, and I would like to have what they call an audit. You see what what's his name? the president of Burkina Faso did. As soon as he took over the country, right, he started to do an audit on everything to see where did the monies actually go. And once he uncovered the corruption, he told everybody about it, the world, and who was to be held accountable. He held them accountable. That is what we need in Jamaica. I'm about the truth. So if somebody is dirty, expose them. If they're all dirty, expose them all. Period. I'm not really a side person. I'm on the side of the best thing for Jamaica. The best thing for us, the people. Period. And if we're going to keep it a stack and keep it a bean, both sides can point on each other and do the blame game all day. But at the end of the day, both of them is responsible for the state of Jamaica as it is right now. Point blank, period.
Marcus Messiah Garvey, a corrupt politician, must be treated in a special way. But let's put those laws in place. I know there are many on the book already, you know.
Ooh! You heard what she said? Y'all should read the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. I co-sign that. A corrupt politician should be treated as a traitor. Yes. There should be laws implemented where treason is concerned. Like stealing the money from the education system. Yes. Like stealing from the purse. Yes. Like misappropriating funds and not knowing where funds are. Yes. Treason. Listen. The harshest, most humane punishment you can have should be given unto the leaders. Yes, because it is going to deter them from going into power and doing the wrong things. When they know even their family members is going to face judgment. Oh, Lord, by the law? Oh, yes, Lord. I'm with it. Marcus Garvey all the way, baby. Marcus Garvey all the way.
But, where we are, and the point I made last week was that 1962 to now, 1962 until 2024, September 29, has been a journey into corruption. For example, I investigated a prime minister. Yes, as a journalist, I went into some deep investigations that took me out of the island, onto the continent of Africa and many other places. And then I had to shut my mouth because the threats came in left, right, and center. There were events that I organized through IRFM that I could not attend. One of those events was when we had the Milton Hanson movement, and there was to be a demonstration in front of the British High Commission's offices.
Wow.
And the police called in here to Carl Young to say, at the time I was Andrea Williams. Andrea Williams, we have credible information. There's a credible threat on her life. Not only that, the elders had to gather. And when I talk about the elders, I'm talking about the elders. The elders had to gather from here to Timbuktu. And what they came back with for me was to say, walk away because we cannot afford to lose you. I'm speaking truth in this case right now. And that's just one. And there was another prime minister. Yes. That I also investigated and was carrying a lot of what might have happened in this space. That I also had to drop like hot bread. I'm telling you how things go. I'm speaking from a space and a place of experiencing corruption with every single... There was a brother who was to come in to speak. This is a whole other thing now. They talk to already. This is three now. And we're talking about three different people so far. There was a brother who had written a book I'd called innocently to say, will you come in and do the interview, because I've read the book. Will you come in? Now, this is not the first time I'm asking somebody, will you come in to do the book review? They usually come in, whether they're in America, England, or wherever, as long as they can afford it. They usually come in. This brother was overseas, and he said, yes, I can, and I'll come. And he called me back, and he said, listen, I just got a call. Brother's about to board the plane, and he said, the man them say, anytime I come off of this plane, I set foot in Jamaica, if it's a book we're coming to talk about, then there is no way that I'm going to leave alive. Yes, that happened.
Rotted.
And I could go on and on and on and on. I'm just telling you how the thing set.
So she's expressing how her life has been threatened for her investigative journalism, y'all. This is Jamaica. Wow. Oh yeah. I remember Mr. Is it? What's his name? Oh man. I did a video about that dude. Hold up. Yeah, I did a video about him. Wait a minute. Let's go to my page. Let's go to my page real quick. Yeah, I did a video about him. Very recently, I covered that story. It's been a while since it happened, but it's recently that I did. Here we go. Let's get into this. Here we go. Lights, please.
Since I came into politics.
And share the live. Help me out. You know I'm late. I'm sorry. Share the live, y'all. Let them know I'm here. Yeah.
Just over a year ago, there have been personal attacks. There have been economic attacks where my business partners were advised not to do business with me. I lost contracts. I had permits held up until they said, Dawes, we have to let you go. And then the permits were approved. I have listened to bloggers drag my name in the dirt. I have listened to lies being spun about me. And I've had to learn. As Kennard say, you have to have alligator skin in this politics thing.
Now, I really want to, however, you know, give you in its.
Look at it as a process. I really never wanted to share why, but I believe you all need to know the battles that I have been fighting. Silently. A year ago, I was invited to a meeting. Since I came into politics, a member of my team. Just over a year ago, there have been personal attacks, there have been economic attacks, where my business partners were advised not to do business with me. I lost contracts. I had permits held up until they said, Dawes, we have to let you go.
Listen.
And then the permits were approved. I have listened to bloggers drag my name in the dirt. I have listened to lies being spun about me. And I have had to learn, as Kennard say, you have to have alligator skin in this politics thing. But I look at it as a process. I really never wanted to share why, but I believe you all need to know the battles that I have been fighting. Silently. A year ago, I was invited to a meeting, and I had gone with a member of my team, a female comrade, to accompany me to that meeting. Said it was a private meeting, so she waited outside. I went and met one-on-one with someone. We were there for about an hour. And then when we're leaving, he went and spoke to someone at another table. And then he came. By that time, my friend had said that she had ordered some food. And he came and we said, no, leave it, I'm late, I have to leave. And he said, no man, wait for the food. And don't worry, I'll pay for it. We got the food. And I was dropping out. She said, my MP, you don't eat from morning, better you eat it. Dropped her home. And I was eating the food. My throat started to tighten up. And I couldn't breathe properly. And I called some friends in the police and the university hospital. And I ended up at the university hospital that night. The next morning, reporters kept calling. And they kept asking about the woman who was rushed to the hospital. Because the plan was never for me to eat that food. It was for her to eat that food. And they were hoping that I would be rushing a dead female to the hospital. And the scandal that ensued would destroy my name. And then the police, every time I spoke to senior members of the police, reporters would be calling with the same information I gave the police. So I knew this was not a plot from Southeast. This is something bigger. And I purposefully kept this from the leadership of the party and everyone, my family in particular. But I think you ought to know that there's a group of people who will not stop, even if it means murder of an innocent, not to destroy me, but they need to destroy my name. And that is what I've been up against. When the results came back, I'm a fit man, I exercise, I ride. Oh, and by the way, I heard my counterpart, Dr. Tufton, was in an accident. I reached out, I expressed my sympathies and hope he gets a speedy recovery. When the results came back at UAE, it showed that I had liver and kidney damage. By that time, I had gone to SAB because I was feeling better. And I repeated the blood test there. It showed the liver and kidney damage, but it was improving. And that cemented everything that I was poisoned.
4 different hacks that you could.
So, Mr. Alfred Dawes telling his story. Do you remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Integrity Commission personnel that was shot in their leg? So, there's a pattern here. You know, there is a pattern here. The corruption in Jamaica is unbelievable. And I have to say this because it's true. This is one of the reasons why the judgment of the Lord is coming on Jamaica. Because there's things that we cannot imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that I can't imagine that is going on in Jamaica. It has definitely become Little Babylon. It has become Little Port Royal. See what happened to Port Royal? Exactly. So, when she says that she was threatened, people are getting threats online. I've gotten threats. Not direct threats, but indirect threats. Just from my perspective on the current prime minister and everything that's going on in my country. So, when vloggers come on here and they speak the truth, just understand, this is a dangerous thing that we're doing in Jamaica. But I want to encourage every single well-thinking Jamaican to start a channel and start talking about it. You ain't got to show your face like me if you don't want to do that. But start sharing your perspective. Yeah, man. Start a channel and start sharing your perspective. If you got visions, start sharing your visions. Whatever the case might be. Just start sharing. Because God is the one that is going to shake this country up. And pun intended, it's going to be a great shake. It's going to be a great shake. And it's going to be a great baptism too. Yeah, that's how this country is going to change from its wicked ways. The same way Port Royal. You saw what happened to Port Royal? Oh yeah. It's going to be tenfold for the entire Jamaica. And the mantra is pray, repent, prepare, and educate. Yeah, that's on a daily, baby. Let's go. On a daily. Pray, repent, prepare, educate.
I can give you stories. I've been a journalist all my life. I've been a journalist all my life. And I've been an investigative journalist for 34 years, working in this very same spot. And so I've had it. I've interviewed, investigated, threatened, and right now, if I am to even lock in, I've been called PNP, JLP, and every other P in between, depending on which party is in power. And I'm saying that to say this, that corruption is the foundation upon which Jamaica is built. And if we think that it just starts, and we're going to be all jumping up and down. And I said last week that if you strip the Prime Minister naked and tar him and feather him and hang him up in halfway tree, that tomorrow whoever steps in place will do anything the same thing you are accusing him of. And everybody below him will do worse. I'm saying this understanding.
I believe so too. I believe that
we must have a systems analysis and we must correct the problem from the source. It's going to be a hard and a long road.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it through elections. Where? In Jamaica? No. You will not change any level of corruption in Jamaica through elections. I'm saying that without fear or favor. I'm saying that without apology.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we have is one coin with two sides.
Mm-hmm.
What we have is a two-headed monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk some more about that later on in the program. Because it don't matter who in power, we are losing access to every single beach in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter who is in power.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look around, the beaches are given to their friends. It don't matter who in power.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, them need to come and talk to us about why we have no access to land or beach and why they own all the land and all the beaches.
All the beaches, yeah.
At that level, it don't matter who is in power. Somebody must also come tell us how China get Roaring River.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody must come tell with that. How China get Roaring River.
Come on,
There's
man.
a whole lot of questions that need answer, and the Integrity Commission report into one person will not answer a thing. Simple.
True.
At the end of the day, it doesn't answer anything. But still, it won't change anything. As I said before, my very special guest is Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent, attorney at law. And I'm telling you, we agree on a lot, but we do not necessarily agree on the Integrity Commission report. I know that because I've been listening to Wilfred Rattigan. But let us see where we converge and where we're not. Good morning, Mr. Wilfred Rattigan. Thank you so much for joining us on the phone lines. Appreciate you every time.
Good morning, Cabo. Good morning to your listeners and your staff, and it's always a pleasure to be with you.
I mentioned your name last week, right? When I was doing my commentary, I think when I was talking to Valerie Nita Robertson, because I said that I remember one of the first interviews I did with you. It was about crime and violence in Jamaica, and it was on a Thursday afternoon. Muta was traveling, and I was sitting in for him. So we were deep into the conversation about crime and violence and drugs and whether or not Jamaica is a narco state. That's the discussion we were having. And I was listening to you, and then because of what you were saying, I asked you, what would you say is Jamaica's main problem right now? What is Jamaica's major problem? Do you remember your answer?
I don't remember, but it probably would have been corruption.
That's exactly what you said.
Bingo.
That's exactly what you said.
Bingo.
All right, so I want to start there. How serious is corruption from where you stand in Jamaica?
Extremely serious. Remember, Jamaica is on the corruption index. Anything below 50 is considered very corrupt, and Jamaica is hovering around
44.
Somewhere, I was going to say 41 and 44. Right?
Yes.
So let's put that into context. This is somebody that this is Rattigan, ladies and gentlemen. Used to work in the FBI. I work. Yeah. He was an FBI agent. And the rating, anything under 50 is extremely corrupt. And Jamaica is hovering around 44 to 41%. And we have Jamaican Prime Minister and Kamina Johnson going to these places and telling them, oh, Jamaica is a great place to come and to live and to prosper and it's peaceful. What? When the reality is, no, Jamaica is becoming Haiti. It's right there. Because of what they're doing to the people. And God is the only one that can intervene and bring back this country at this point, because the people are sitting down and they're not doing nothing. They're not protesting. They have gotten acclimated to the way things are done. They've got acclimated to the corruption. They are just desensitized, right, to everything that is going on. Rosalind, how you doing, sweetheart? Big up yourself. Thanks for joining in. Right? Crazy.
Corruption in this, anything below 60 is considered very corrupt.
Yeah.
And Jamaica is hovering around
44.
Somewhere, yeah, I was going to say 41 and 44. Right?
Yes.
So Jamaica, yeah, by international standards, Jamaica is very corrupt. Now, if you go by local standards, I did a poll recently, and the majority of Jamaicans believe that Jamaica is a corrupt state. The problem, though, is that we have come to accept it.
All right.
And
bingo.
And therein lies the problem. Yes, we've come to it. It's normalized.
It is normalized, and that is a very serious problem because so how? Here's the thing: we have generations who know nothing else. Generation millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and some Gen Xs know nothing. I'm talking about people born in the late 60s and the 70s. Know nothing all the way down to now, other than the kind of corruption that we're experiencing right now. So this is normal for them.
No, I am in that group. I have known nothing but corruption when it comes on to politics in Jamaica. I have not seen a clean politician yet. Not even one. All of them in a bangarang, all of them in a mix-up. JLP and PMP. I am over 30 years old. Alright, so I seen the era of PMP. Right? And I've experienced the era of JLP as well. I have not seen no politician that is clean in my lifetime. Not even one of them.
How dangerous is that to nation building?
It's very detrimental to nation building when you have a segment of the population, a large segment of the population, that they know nothing else. This is what they've come up into. And, you know, I was listening to you a while ago, and you were saying it doesn't matter who's in power, you know, because corruption is baked into the cake, and we're all eating. So it's going to be difficult. My personal belief is that to make a dent in corruption, it has to be done from overseas. It cannot be done from within. I mean, yes, you will have to put your shoulders to the wheel in Jamaica to try and eradicate it. Well, first of all, you can never eradicate corruption. You can control it. Mm-hmm. But I think that pressure will have to be brought from outside Jamaica. What do I mean by that? Mm-hmm. Meaning that you would have to have the pressure from the international corruption organizations, pressure from donor countries, donor agencies, pressure from the diaspora. You must have pressure from those fronts in order to change the behavior of the Jamaican politicians. Because most of the time, Cabo, when you look at corruption, you see it in the light of ordinary Jamaica. When I say ordinary, I mean a policeman stopping somebody for a traffic violation and taking a bribe instead of doing what he or she's supposed to do. Mm. But you don't see politicians, especially at the highest levels, going to prison or being charged with it. You just don't see it.
But you have politicians tumbling down all the time. I mean, the former Minister of Education, that was a whole corruption case. We have some over the years, I don't have, and I'm sorry that I didn't carry my text from last week, but over the years, we've had so many politicians who, maybe not prison, but have been, you know, kicked out of the system on corruption, cases. Mm-hmm. But we've had statements like, I will be back. And then you come back. So how come you come back?
And that's why.
Excellent point. The reason why they come back is because it seems like everybody corrupt. It seems like everybody's corrupt, ladies and gentlemen. It really does. It really does. Yeah.
Why I'm saying you need to send them to prison to send a clear message.
No.
You can't give them time out.
But I agree with Rattigan. They mean forgot prison. But when he said about overseas coming in, I really believe that overseas, you know, those entities are corrupt as well. There lies the problem. I think, like I said, this sounds really basic, but I think the devil has really infiltrated everywhere. It's going to take a man of God, right? Somebody that believes in something different from outside of the power of mankind, like a Mr. Burkina Faso, the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Choi, right? That says, no, listen, we're not using the IMF, we're not using none of y'all. We're going to be an independent state and we're going to do what's right for the people of this country. And he's literally doing that. Not saying he's not probably not making some mistakes now because he's a young president now. You know, and I won't go into what those mistakes might be and possibly be. We'll see in the future. But for most intentions purposes, his heart is in the right place. And his actions as well are matching up with what he's saying he's going to do. He's not just making promises and then not fulfilling them, like Andrew Honest and the rest of politicians here in Jamaica. That tell you a good game before them get elected, and then when they get elected, they make excuses to why them can't get to what they said they were going to do. It's the same game over and over again. But I digress.
You can't say, okay, take a back seat for 6 months, a year, and then you'll be back. Because once you do that, that is no curb on corruption. A timeout is not a curb on corruption. You need to send people to prison, because only then the people downstream will understand that, look, if they can do it to a prime minister, a deputy, any minister, if they can do that to them, what do you think will happen to me? And I agree with you. It's a tough road ahead, but it's a road we have to travel.
I want to put it to you, and I'm not an attorney, you are, but I want to put it to you that prison is not a deterrent.
Wait a minute. First of all, it's a deterrent for the person who's in prison. Because if you're in prison, you can't. It's
for the person, but not for the wider system, not for the next politician.
But here's the thing: because it hasn't happened in Jamaica for such a long time, a politician going to prison, I think you're going to send a clear signal. And then when you have the international organizations and foreign countries applying the pressure, or applying the pressure in conjunction with the judiciary in Jamaica doing its job, I think you're going to see changes.
What kind? How changes to the system? Because we just agreed, that the system facilitates corruption. So,
well, yeah, to some degree, yes, you're going to have to make some changes in the system. You're going to have to make some changes with the Integrity Commission. You're going to have to make changes over there. We need people with a stiff spine over there. Because you can't tell me, I'll give you a quick example. You cannot tell me that the Prime Minister done the investigation for illicit enrichment and for knowingly providing false information. Mm-hmm. And then when you ask him for information to clear up the situation, he'll tell you now give information, and all you do, you put that in your report. Well, when you have at least 7 sections, at least 7 sections in the Integrity Commission Act of 2017 that you could apply and bring this man before the bar of justice and have a judge compelled to provide information. All and right. You don't do it.
All right. Hold that point. Let me take a...
Big up Rattigan. Rattigan knows the law. He's an attorney. So what he's saying is that the Integrity Commission need to have more balls, more teeth. Them it's like them afraid. Well, they did shoot. Well, I'm not gonna say they, but one of them were shot years ago in the foot. And the briefcase was taken. And it's labeled as theft. But why would you steal a briefcase? Well, the Integrity Commission is investigating politicians and other people. So, were they trying to get documents taken away from them? Important information? So, I mean, it's a very interesting situation, and I really understand where Rattigan is coming from. Basically, the Integrity Commission not doing their job. But like Kabu would be one of those investigators, and then they threaten your family. Whoever they are, threaten your family. How far are you going to take it? And then you have people from the JLP side, I believe that's a part of the Integrity Commission as well. I don't trust none of them. I'm just saying it is very, very, very complex, the level of corruption that is going on in Jamaica. I really cannot grasp it. I think it's bigger than we could ever imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I say about that.
A quick break because we're going to come back and go right to the report. Guest online is Wilfred Rattigan, attorney at law and former FBI agent. A little bit more about Mr. Rattigan. He is a premier, high-achieving and experienced former federal law enforcement officer, security expert with specialized knowledge and experience in the full spectrum of diplomatic relations, private industry / government, agency collaboration and law enforcement tactics, training and strategies. He's adept at dealing with highly challenging law enforcement security situations involving international conflict and crisis management. He's a strategic advisor with significant experience in leading large-scale complex investigations and security forces operations. He delivers improvements for personal performance through effective leadership, training and management, and he applies a creative approach to current and emerging trends. He's an experienced attorney and legal instructor with emphasis on government consultancy, administrative matters, real estate, immigration, criminal law, and law enforcement issues. So he's very qualified. He's also qualified to be on the program. Mr. Rattigan, I know you have, how many times did you read the report? The Integrity Commission report?
I've gone away 3 times already.
Yeah.
And not just the 117-page report, but also the prosecutor's report, which is about 16 pages.
Yes.
And then the special report, 2 pages.
Yes. And I'm going to send our listeners also to your YouTube channel because you have broken down, you spent time, hours, I think, breaking down the report and analyzing the report for a wider audience. So you are on YouTube at
Reason with Rattigan.
Reason with Rattigan. All right, what are the major, because you mentioned one earlier, but what would you say are the major points coming out of the report?
Major points. One, the Prime Minister lied. And these are not my words. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing what the investigator, the director of investigation said in his report. So the Prime Minister lied. There are issues regarding a bond, a 94.
Alan Coleman, big up. Hey, I want big name that you have now. Alan Coleman. No, I want legendary name you have that. Yeah, the Coleman them. Alan Coleman, that name, that legendary name in a Jamaica, you know. Big up yourself.
$1,000 bond. There are issues regarding conflict of interest. There are issues regarding his affiliation and interaction with 5 companies. There are issues concerning the bank accounts. There are issues concerning the illicit enrichment in and of itself. There are issues concerning a loan made by Barita to the Prime Minister. There are issues abounding in this report.
And when you say issues, has the report identified what those issues are?
Yes, the report does, but it's a very tedious reading because it's not in a format that's, I should say, reader friendly. So if you don't have the patience,
Mr. Kimi!
What up, baby?
How you doing, babes? You up early? Well, you're always up early. You're a businesswoman. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Mr. Kimi, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Mr. Kimi's page. Wonderful, wonderful woman that lives in the States that I met through this app. Beautiful soul, very intelligent, and I love her perspective. Me and her see eye to eye on a lot because we're both pro the nuclear family. So y'all make sure y'all go check her out, Mr. Kimi. Please drop your link in the chat. Thank you kindly.
to go through some of the way it's structured, then you're not going to complete. Yes, the report does, but it's a very tedious reading because it's not in a format that's, I should say, reader friendly.
No, Mr. Alan Coleman, you're the type of Jamaican I will stand side by side with until the end in every fight there is as a patriot of this country. You hear what the man said? Every inch of me is PMP, but I will not take up for no PMP MP if they mix up. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, you can live. I can coexist with an individual that has that mindset towards politicians. I can coexist with you. Really and truly. Yeah. Love that.
Um, the illicit enrichment in and of itself. There are issues concerning a loan made by Barita to the Prime Minister. There are issues abounding in this report.
And when you say issues, has a report identified what those issues are?
Yes, the report does, but it's a very tedious reading because it's not in a format that's, I should say, reader friendly. So if you don't have the patience to go through some of the way it's structured, then you're not going to complete the report.
I want to start one place where I know that the report laid out clearly what the issue was. The issue, and you mentioned it, conflict of interest, for example, with the with a business partner of the Prime Minister. The business partner is named. I think the surname is Brown. I hope I'm not wrong. That's my recollection. A business partner of the Prime Minister who was made the head of the Housing Association of Jamaica and also the head of the UDC in recent times, but is also a business partner in the Prime Minister's real estate portfolio. That is a clear conflict of interest. It is one of the things that I identified as the report says, it is deleterious. I think that's the word they used. And the recommendation, did they make a recommendation as to what should happen there, or did they just leave it hanging? Do you recall?
Yeah, no, they made a recommendation to the ethics committee. Saying that they should look into it to ensure that essentially that you have arm's length distance between politicians and their friends or people that they're in business with.
Right. So that to me is very, very clear. That is a conflict of interest. Ethically and morally, that is wrong. Whether legally is another issue, and we can have a conversation about that later on. Now, on the other things though, regarding the bank accounts, for example, numerous bank accounts, how many? 28 or more?
28.
28. So what is the issue with the bank account from your reading of the report?
With the bank accounts, first of all, he didn't identify them. He had 3 opportunities to present these bank accounts, and he didn't. The commission on its own discovered these or received these from Nova Scotia, Bank of Nova Scotia. And with these 4 accounts, there were 2 of them were owned by his mom, and he was a joint holder. There's one with his father, he was a joint holder, and there's one with a lady from his constituency, where he was identified as a...
Was this person identified within the report? I don't recall this person being identified as a lady from his constituency in the report, though. Did you do further investigation and find that out?
Yeah, we know who she is.
Yeah, so Mr. Rattigan, remember, you're an attorney, and we work at a commercial station.
Hold on, wait, what? Allegedly. So hold on, Mr. Rattigan is saying allegedly they found the lady that he had a joint account with. Ladies and gentlemen, for full context, for those that don't know and not following this story, the Prime Minister of Jamaica is under investigation for illicit enrichment. That means they can't figure out how he got his money. So it's a possibility that his money has been gotten illegally. Period. It's a possibility. Now, there was a particular situation where he had a joint account with somebody that he was paying a salary to. My question is, to all business people out there, Miss Akimi, you're one of them. Do you have an employee that you have a joint account with just to pay them the money that they supposed to get? Do you? Anybody out there? If you're watching the replay, if you're watching the live, can you let me know in the comment section? This is the 1 hour mark. I want to know on the 1 hour mark, who as a business person, an employer, is holding a joint account with an employee, and the purpose of the account stated in your declaration was to pay that person their salary. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Prime Minister of Jamaica. We're talking about the leader of this country. Just for full context, let's continue. Please like and share the live. It's much appreciated. Thanks in advance. Whew. It's crazy, bro.
So let us keep it. This is why I say the isness of things, right? Because as far as I'm concerned in reading the report, no prior knowledge. For me, it's no prior knowledge. And this is what we do as investigative journalists. This is how I was trained. No prior knowledge. I just come to the thing and read the thing. What is there is what is there. So the point I want to make with the bank account though, were you satisfied in reading through, or to what extent were you satisfied or not? And in reading through the excuses or the reasons that the Prime Minister gave for not identifying some of those accounts, for example, the one with the woman who we're not quite sure where she's from, the other one with his parents, and I think there was a second one without.
Very good question.
You know what? Cabo, yes. I'm looking at the report right now, and she was identified on page 41 of the report. Her name is Elizabeth Reed.
It doesn't say where she's from or who she is. Because I'm an auntie named Elizabeth Reed, you know. I mean, no, it's not she.
Yo, see, this is why Kabu has been doing this for a very, very long time. See what you just did there? She got an auntie that's named the same thing. She might not, she might have. But yeah, they said a name, but where she come from though? Is that in the report? Because you got to be careful what you say, right? Because, legal, you know what I'm saying? Hey.
It says BNS, and I'm quoting from the report, it says BNS account 142 is primarily held by Elizabeth Reed. This is the Prime Minister's answer to the question.
Okay, that's the answer, yes.
Yeah, and he said it's primarily held by Elizabeth Reed, who worked in my constituency office more than 20 years ago.
Oh, so the Prime Minister actually declared that individual worked in his constituency 20 years ago. So there's no legal ramifications because that's his words. Let's continue.
My recollection is that I had encouraged her to open a bank account through which her wages would be paid online. I do not recall the circumstances in which my name was added to her account.
Right. So he said it worked in more than 20 years ago. So she's no longer in the constituency, according to the Prime Minister's response, and we take it at face value. What is the issue there, Mr. Rattigan? I am not, pardon me for not getting it. I know the speculations that can arise, okay? But if the report doesn't say what it is that people are speculating, how we reach to say that there are issues here?
Here's the issue. The issue is a failure to advise on your statutory declaration that you have these assets. And when they in their definition of assets, you don't have to own it as long as you're on the bank account. Then you're supposed to report that because you can see where there could be issues.
Is it unusual? It is considering the accounts. Is it something unusual forensically for these minor accounts? Your father, and I'm saying minor because that's how it sounds even in terms of the monies that later on, because their figures. I mean, the report has later on a whole table or tables. Referring back to the bank accounts. So would that be unusual, do you think? Do you think it is a proper an oversight that could have happened?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because he was using the accounts. I'll give you an example of one of them, account number 64. That his mother was the primary and he was the joint holder. Now, between December 20th and between December 2020 and August 21st, $2.6 million Jamaican dollars transferred from that account, from account 64, to an account owned by the Prime Minister. Between February and December of 2021, $1.2 million transferred from that same account 64 to another account owned by the Prime Minister. And later, $1.8 million transferred from one of the Prime Minister's accounts to account number 64. So he was using the account, or somebody.
Embarrassing. He needs some milk.
Somebody using his bank account was involved in transactions with his mother's account.
Right, because a joint holder account, I'm on my mother's account. And before my father died, I don't necessarily know, how they are. I don't police their account. This is the point I'm making. No. This is why I'm asking, how unusual would this be for the Prime Minister?
No, but the issue is not policing the account. The issue is reporting the account.
Yes, I understand.
The issue is that you're on the account, right? And so
report it.
Yeah, the reason I gave you the transaction is to say it's not like you can say I didn't know about the account.
Right.
Because when they interviewed him, he said, I know I'm on the account and I've used the account. So the question is, then why didn't you report the account? And they gave him 3 chances, at least 3 chances. He could have reported the account and he didn't.
And they have said, in summing up, I
See, I like how Kabul is, asking these questions. Like, that's not really nothing. Why is that an issue? That's what you call being a professional. So now it gives Mr. Rattigan the opportunity. It's like an alley-oop, basically. It's like an alley-oop. Why is there a suspicion? Well, the reason why there's a suspicion is because he knew he was on the account, but he did not declare it. It's not like you didn't know. And that was my thing. You are the leader of the country. You understand, you've been in this for a while. You should understand statutory declaration. It's very detailed. So why on God's green earth would you not take 5 days? 5 days to go, Mom, what account am I on again? Am I on any accounts? Dad, am I on any accounts? Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let me know. Boom, whoop-de woo. Right? Yeah. Just to be detailed, because, this is very serious and this could affect my reputation. So I don't want to do anything on my end that could give them an opportunity to even question my integrity. See, this is where I'm at with it. To me, it's like his attitude is, yo, man, y'all are wasting my time just to clear my asset and let me go about my business. Right? As if you having an account, right? You having 28 accounts is not alarming, but you having 8 of those accounts where a period between 2020 and 2023, you had a deposit of 400 plus million Jamaican dollars deposited into the account, and then 400 plus million taken out of the account, of the 8 accounts. They was just passing through in a way that could be identified as possibly money laundering. It's just, it's too many questions, bro. It's just too many questions. Real talk.
correct me if I'm wrong, that he didn't, is it knowingly or intentionally?
It's knowingly.
It's knowingly. What's the difference between those two?
It's much ado about nothing. It's like a distinction without a difference, because at the end of the day, it means the same thing. It means that you intentionally didn't report it when you know that you should have reported it. Now, here's the key, that one of the things that the corruption prosecutor didn't look at. The Prime Minister asked the Integrity Commission for training on good governance and anti-corruption issues. Mm-hmm. They provided the training. It was a 12-module training. And one of the modules was about statutory declaration, when to file, how to file, all of this stuff. And he received the training. Then they said to him, listen, you have to sign this code of conduct, the 7 Nolan principles of good governance. Mm-hmm. And he said, no. And not only him, but his entire cabinet. No one has signed it on the government side.
Yes, we remember that whole, debacle literally, because majority of Jamaican people couldn't understand why they wouldn't sign. And at no time did we get a good excuse or reason for not signing. So the point you're making regarding him not signing is what?
Is that he knew he had to provide this information because he received the training. Mm-hmm. So she could have looked at that and said, you know what, Mr. Prime Minister, the idea that you didn't knowingly do it, I don't buy it, because you know why? You received training on this matter specifically. Yeah. And also,
that is key. That is key. You knew. That's what I was saying a while ago. Bro, you know what it is. So how are you not coming correct? Pause. With the information that is necessary to declare your assets in its totality. It makes no sense. You're not a child. You are the Prime Minister of this country. Right? And now you want to blame the Integrity Commission when you the one that's been given all these chances to declare and make it right. 1, 2, 3 different problems. You went back. Now you're gonna say, "Oh, my lawyers advised me to da 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 da." Come on, man.
You're using the account. So if you're using the account, then and you admitted that you're on the account as a joint holder. You should have filed. You should have filed.
And he's come back to say what? Because he did, as far as I'm concerned, he did respond to those. I knew this, but the commissioner seemed to have been somewhat convinced in that, whether it was an interview or just email. I don't know how that discussion took place, but we're seeing that interaction in terms of what he told them. But if you look at the front page of the report, it says ruling, no charge, no charge, no charge / prosecution. No charge, no prosecution. I before we go to no charge, no prosecution, I'm gonna take a quick break and come back and look at the sphere, in the public sphere right now. This idea that the Prime Minister had so many bank accounts and that in itself signifies something. I want you to respond to that from your own experience as a forensic analyst. If that really is such a big deal. Let me come back. Let me take a break.
The time by
An attorney at law and for the Time Signal report. I know just from talking to many people, and I got a backlash last week by people saying to me, well, he had so many accounts, something must be wrong, he must be that. But does that mean, in the wider scheme of things, what's the significance of that? And is that such a big deal for a Prime Minister to have 28 accounts?
Well, it's not a crime to have 28, 58, 108 accounts. But when you're the Prime Minister of the country and you have 28 accounts, it raises some red flags.
Yeah.
You look at the accounts and the amount of money going through, coming out.
Yep.
You see that they call cardless deposits made to his accounts by, and it later came out that it was his business partner who transferred, I think, $4.5 million through ATMs to him. You look at how the accounts have been used, and then you start to...
I didn't know you could transfer $4.5 million through ATMs.
Hey, who mess is this?
Man, what?
to wonder, why do you have so many accounts? And that's a perfectly legitimate question. In fact, there are two accounts.
So why was that not answered? But why the Integrity Commission? Why it appears with no charge, no prosecution that the Integrity Commission was okay with whatever answer they got?
No, they said no charge, no prosecution regarding only 4 accounts. The four Nova Scotia bank accounts, not the entire the 28, just the 4.
Oh, I am glad we got clarity on that, ladies and gentlemen. Alan Coleman said, I'm a born PMP. I really like this young man when he turned up to be the leader and the PM of Jamaica because he was saying what I always wanted to hear. Fixed election date, love that. But oh dear, the man mess up. Yeah, exactly. Remember what he said, what he was going to do in his first 100 days in becoming the prime minister? Well, he has not done not one of those things. I mean, not one. And what you just mentioned is one of them, having a fixed date for elections, among other things, because he was talking about cleaning up corruption, all of this. Not one. Not one, ladies and gentlemen. But back to what he was saying. They only cleared him for 4 accounts. So nationwide, what do you call him? Andrew Honest Mouthpiece. So you guys leaked. You guys said you got information about these 4 accounts before the reports even came out. And you was trying to sell the people like, it's just these 4 accounts and there's 4 accounts and it's only 384,000 Jamaican dollars. Could it be that they're investigating the prime minister for this small amount of money? All of that. But come to find out, those 4 accounts was cleared. What about the other 28 or 24 accounts? That didn't raise no alarm bells for you? Come on, man. Stop playing. Stop playing. No, I'm telling you, I liked Andrew Holness at first. What he was saying, like you, Alan Coleman, I'm telling you. But I was very mindful because I understood how politicians are. They say a good game at the stages of trying to get into office. Man, they will sell salt to a slug. They will convince a slug to eat salt. Do you hear me? And that is devastating for a slug. But I'm just trying to tell you how convincing they can be. All right? Yeah, man, they'll convince you that sand is water and you should drink it. It will quench your thirst. That's how good politicians are.
That he should have reported, and he did not report. And when they made inquiry, they meaning the Integrity Commission made inquiries of the bank revealed that information to them, and they said, wait a minute, this man has had so many chances to come clean and tell us that, okay, I list these 4 accounts, and he didn't do it. That was the only issue put before the Integrity Commission, before the corruption prosecutor. So for those people out there saying, oh, the prosecutor said no charge, and she can't charge him for nothing, that's not quite true.
I'm also glad for that clarification again. This idea that the Integrity Commission lady cleared Andrew Onis for all charges and suspicions, false. False. Okay? Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
All you JLP vloggers out there, Vegas, stop lying. Stop it.
You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
Ain't nobody lying.
Yes, you are. You're a goddamn liar.
Only requested to look at one issue, and it was the issue of 4 Nova Scotia bank accounts. That's it.
In terms of the companies, we have four main companies.
Yeah, 5.
What's the issue arising from those? Because you identify those also as having issues there.
Yes, you have ADMAT, Imperium, Estate Bridge, Positive Media, and Green Emerald. Huge problems with the way the companies were run. First thing you have to know is that 4 out of the 5 companies, well, take ADMAT out of the equation, because that was established in St. Lucia in 2008 and dissolved in December 2021. So take ADMAT out of the equation. Now you have Imperium, Estate Bridge, Positive Media, and Green Emerald. One of the things I noticed was that all of these companies were formed in 2020 during the pandemic.
Wow.
The first COVID case in Jamaica was registered in March of 2020.
He found himself with time on his hands.
But then he was running up. That's not what. If you read the speeches.
No, I'm just joking.
And then so what happened? The first company, Imperium, was formed in June. The second company, Estate Bridge, was formed in July. The third company, Positive Media, was formed in October, and Green Emerald was formed in November.
Why is the COVID? Why is the COVID reference necessary?
It's necessary because, first of all, our Prime Minister, and by the way, let me just make it clear that Green Emerald is not a director or a part of Green Emerald. Green Emerald is connected to Green Emerald in the sense that Green Emerald is a company formed in the middle of the ghetto in a Cockburn, Penn, Anderson Avenue, and Green Emerald was lending the Prime Minister's Positive Media company $24 million.
Huh?
And the question
do we know where that money came from? That loan?
That's a very good question. The Integrity Commission did not.
Whoa! Wait! You can't. We ain't gonna just skip past that like we ain't just heard what he said. What?
And Green Emerald was lending the Prime Minister's.
No, you gotta go back some more.
A part of Green Emerald.
Gotta go back some more.
And State Bridge was formed in July. The third company, Positive Media, was formed in October, and Green Emerald was formed in November.
Why is the COVID? Why is the COVID reference necessary?
It's necessary because, first of all, our Prime Minister, and by the way, let me just make it clear that Green Emerald is not a director or a part of Green Emerald. Green Emerald is connected to Green Emerald in the sense that Green Emerald is a company formed in the middle of the ghetto in a Cockburn, Penn, Anderson Avenue, and Green Emerald was lending the Prime Minister's Positive Media company $24 million. And the question:
do we know where that money came from? That loan?
That's a very good question. The Integrity Commission did not track the source of that money. They did not.
Wow.
And then here's another one. They have a company called Positive Positive Media.
Positive Media,
There's a
yes.
company, there's a company called Positive Media. Now, Positive Media started out with 5 million.
I do know that company. We're in the media together.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, started out with 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then Imperium, another company owned by the Prime Minister, provided 2.9 million to Positive Media when it was formed, right? It was formed in 2020.
Is that a problem?
No, here's the problem. The following year, Positive Media is lending Imperium, what is it, 46, in 2021 they loaned them 46 million Jamaican dollars and 30,000 US. And then the year after that they loaned them 20.
Yo, nah, man, nah. This is wild, yo. Hey, Mr. Kimi, are you hearing this? I gotta go back, man. Nah, bro. Hey, Rattigan, you moving too fast, bro. You moving a little bit too fast, my brother. Nah, bro. This ain't what? You tripping? What? Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
The way the companies were run. First thing you have to know is that 4 out of the 5 companies, well, take ADMAT out of the equation, because that was established in St. Lucia in 2008 and dissolved in December 2021. So take ADMAT out of the equation.
Right.
Now you have Imperium, Estate Bridge, Positive Media, and Green Emerald. One of the things I noticed was that all of these companies were formed in 2020 during the pandemic. The first COVID case in Jamaica was registered in March of 2020.
Right.
He found himself with time on his hands.
But then he was running up. That's not what. If you read the speeches.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know you're being facetious. Yeah, I know. But then, so what happened? The first company, Imperium, was formed in June. The second company, Estate Bridge, was formed in July. The third company, Positive Media, was formed in October, and Green Emerald was formed in November.
Why is the COVID? Why is the COVID reference necessary?
It's necessary because, first of all, our Prime Minister, and by the way, let me just make it clear that Green Emerald is not a director or a part of Green Emerald. Green Emerald is connected to Green Emerald in the sense that Green Emerald is a company formed in the middle of the ghetto in a Cockburn Pen on Anderson Avenue.
How did they form the company in the middle of the ghetto, Cockburn Pen? Yo, I need Biz to come and listen to this, bro. I need a professional. This is what?
And Green Emerald was lending the Prime Minister's Positive Media company $24 million. And the question
do we know where that money came from, that loan?
That's a very good question. The Integrity Commission did not track the source of that money.
So you got a company built in the middle of the ghetto, and it's lending the Prime Minister allegedly $24 million. And I'm just saying allegedly, just to be safe. And the Integrity Commission did not get a answer as to the source of that money, where it came from to lend him. What?
They did not. And then here's another one. They have a company called Positive Media.
Positive Media, yes.
There's a company called Positive Media. Now, Positive Media started out with 5 million.
I do know that company. We're in the media together.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, started with 5 million. And then Imperium, another company owned by the Prime Minister, provided 2.9 million to Positive Media when it was formed. Right, it was formed in 2020.
Is that a problem?
No, here's the problem. The following year, Positive Media is lending Imperium what is it? 46 in 2021 they loaned them 46 million Jamaican dollars and 30,000 US. And
Wait, so let's get this straight. They started off with 5 million. This Positive Media, they were given 2 point something million by the Prime Minister, and the next year they're lending the Prime Minister how much money?
media is lending Imperium what is it? 46 in 2021 they loaned them 46 million Jamaican dollars and 30,000 US.
$46 million they lend Imperium. I believe allegedly the Prime Minister owns Imperium outright. That's the company, right? So this media house is lending his company $46 million and 30,000 US. We gotta go to the calculator real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. Yeah, we gotta go to the calculator real quick. So 30,000 US. All right. That's 4.4, around over $4 million. So that's a lot of money. So 40 plus million plus that 4, that's $50 million. How you go from 5 billion to 2 point something added? And then what kind of thing does this company do to generate that type of money within that short period of time? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just asking.
And then the year after that, they loaned them 20 million Jamaican dollars and 11,000 US. The question is, where did that money come from?
20,000? 20 million, 11,000? Bro, what is going on? So every year, what?
Right. So the Integrity Commission was not able to say where that money came from for Positive Media, considering that they at the same time were registering a nil growth, if you will, no profit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you work with me now, because I'm going from what I read, and I don't have notes in front of me. I'm talking from my head, to tell you how much I've read this thing and studied, But if you recall, did the IC at any time say where that money came from, where that loan, how Positive Media made its millions to be able to lend to Imperium?
Positive Media is claiming that it had the JLP as a client, it had the Prime Minister's constituents as a client, it had a few clients, but we don't say where the money came from.
Well, listen, this is where the speculation come from, because for us in the media, and I've spoken to other people in the media about this very thing, because and for me, most this is similar to what we see happening with UDC and HHJ and the Prime Minister's company and his partner, who is the head of these two agencies within the Prime Minister's office. That this is similar to me. Positive Media is reading similar. I won't say much about the ownership. I think people can go look that up if they will. But it appears to me as if there might also be ethical considerations here, and moral, rather than some of what I hear happening in the public sphere, the conclusions that people are drawing. Because these contracts from government to media are not, most times, 9 times out of 10, are some massive contracts. So if they're going from government back to the Prime Minister's company, then that is a serious conflict of interest.
Well,
So what she's saying is, based off that she's in media, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm listening incorrectly, right? I'm not above reproach. I can be corrected. But what I'm understanding she's saying is, the government contracts that these media companies get are huge. But now she's saying the conflict of interest is the return money that's going to him is a conflict of interest, or to his company, which he owns. So yeah, boy, this is a tangled web. Oh boy, I'm trying to tell you.
To media are not, most times, 9 times out of 10, are some massive contracts. So if they're going from government back to the Prime Minister's company, then that is a serious conflict of interest.
Well, here's another serious issue. All of these companies.
Oh, if they're going from government back to the Prime Minister's company, well, yeah, that's really what it is. Oh, it's a triangle. It goes to the media company, and then it goes back to his. Damn! Oh my God, bro. Yo. See, I'm not the smartest person in the room. The money goes to those companies from the government, and then from those companies, the prime minister's companies get these loans.
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking
Boy.
way. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Boy.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Hey, man,
Boy,
listen.
ain't no way, boy.
Listen.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
This
Boy, ain't
right
no way,
here, boy.
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
This right here, boy. Let me tell y'all something, man.
All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Hey, I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying.
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right.
Yeah.
Tell you about them.
Right? Including Green Emerald. They all declared that they made money. Or the IC determined that they made money. And not one of them paid taxes. Every single one of them paying the nil taxes. There's a serious tax problem here. When you look at the ordinary Jamaican and say, no, you have to pay your taxes, you know.
Yeah.
And then no.
Mr. Ratigan, do you want me to remind you of something? Because I think both of us had this discussion, you know, in one of our, because of many times we talk, you know. There was a Gleaner report. It was an investigative Gleaner report that came out 2 years ago, possibly, or maybe a little less, that identified that there was a system in Jamaica, a very private and secret system, it would appear, that this was allowing and giving tax write-offs to the wealthiest companies in Jamaica, and they named some of the private sector companies that were getting these tax write-offs. I'm not saying that is the same thing happening here, but as I said, you know, what I have in my hand is what I have in my hand. So the speculation.
Well, here's the thing. This wasn't a tax write-off. This was just a flat-out
no tax payment, and I use the wrong term. It wasn't tax write-off that the Gleaner talked about either. It was just straight now pay no tax.
Wow.
Yes. So this is an interesting situation. Yes.
There's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance, right? Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. When you're supposed to pay your taxes and you don't pay it, and the common denominator is none of these.
I know we have some good producers out there. Yvonne Brown, my attorney at law firm. Can you find that story in the Gleaner for me, please, my dear? Because this was an investigative report from the Gleaner company. You know, and I'm not saying this is what happened here. What I'm saying is that we know that there was a situation in Jamaica that was not corrected because there was no big outcry. The Gleaner did this. There were 7 days of interviews left, right, and center, and then it just disappeared. But there was no response, no big response from government, and no change as far as I am concerned. I'm thinking that we'll probably have a situation here. Now, if this is tax avoidance, what would be your reasoning as opposed to if it is tax evasion?
Tax avoidance is a legal mechanism whereby you pay as little tax as permitted under the law, or you pay no taxes. It depends. There's a whole separate conversation. Tax evasion now is when you are supposed to pay taxes on earned income, and you just don't pay it. And what was curious is that every single one of these companies said, yeah, we had expenses and we had income, and then both filed nil taxes. And you said, well, why? And see, that's one of the reasons why the Integrity Commission claimed that they couldn't complete the illicit enrichment investigation because the Prime Minister refused to provide information to them.
And the question is, what's the prerogative then of the...
Before she goes into the question, no, a badness is like a badness. Like, how can anybody be above the tax? Like, do you know how important tax is to a country to actually, well, as they put it, the tax collection is extremely important to the progress of the country. And you telling me you got a prime minister, right? Like, what? Bro, what? You got companies out here just not paying taxes. You got all these expenses and you earning and you not paying no taxes. and nothing happens. There's no legal nothing. There's no let the regular folks stop paying taxes and see what happens. Let the regular citizens of Jamaica stop paying taxes and you see what happens. Oh no, guess what's gonna happen? Nobody that gets paid off taxes won't get paid, including the government officials. Hello. So why is it that companies that are owned and these entities that are owned allegedly by politicians somehow allegedly is not paying taxes? Just not paying taxes. Interesting.
Integrity Commission. I asked Valrenita last week, is the Integrity Commission toothless? Because I have this document in my hand, and there are too many loopholes, too many things left hanging, too much left for speculation and confusion in the nation. That what kind of purview does the Integrity Commission has regarding ensuring that information that is requested and required is provided to them?
Okay. And that's, I think it's section 7.3. On my feed, I'm asking the listeners to go watch my program last night, and I only provided 2/3 of the information that I have. I still have another, 2/5. I still have another 3/5 to go.
What?
But on the section 7.3, it says, if the Integrity Commission asks you for information to complete their, in regards to their investigation, and you say no, they have the absolute right to take you to court without notifying you.
Oh, wow. So the question now is, why didn't the Integrity Commission use those powers that they had and take the Prime Minister to court? Anybody?
To court and have a judge issue an order compelling you to provide that information. Now think about if they had done that, what would have happened in terms of the PR disaster for the Prime Minister? If they had said, Mr. Prime Minister, we need this information from you, and he said, I'm not getting it to you, and they said, okay, fine, no problem. And the next thing you know, you see the headline, court orders Prime Minister to comply with Integrity Commission's request. That would have been devastating, and they had the absolute right and power and authority to do so, and they did not. Yesterday I mentioned at least 7 sections in the Integrity Commission Act.
Why didn't you do that, Integrity Commission? Now you got the Prime Minister saying that you guys are well, he's not saying that you guys are anything, but he's insinuating that some reform needs to happen with y'all, like y'all ain't doing your job right. What is going on? It's very disturbing. You know, do you guys have spider senses? Like that intuition, that little thing that let the hair in the back of your neck stand up? Every time I hear this story or the reports out of the Integrity Commission in detail about the Prime Minister, that those hair in my back start to stand up very, very sharply. Like, what the hell is going on? Do you smell that? Smells like corruption.
Of 2017 that gave them this authority, and they didn't use it. Instead, what they said in the report.
Oh, we got 45 people watching. Please like the video and share the video. You share the video with 2 people, one of them gonna pull up. I'm telling you. And if they don't pull up right now, they'll catch the replay. Thank God for the replay button. Shout out to Miss Genesis. Okay.
Was that we couldn't complete the investigation regarding illicit enrichment because the Prime Minister did not cooperate with us, and therefore we're sending it over to FID for them to conduct their investigation.
The question that came up in the program last week too is, because this is our space, we look at things through our lens, and a lot is out there, but this is the question that came up. What authority, if any, does the Integrity Commission have to send this over to FID and TAJ? And should it have taken another route? Against the background of a discussion we heard in Parliament, the motion that was moved by the opposition, the rejection of that motion, and then the request for the members, the commissioners, to come before the committee.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just read you 7.3. It says, let me start with 7.1. It says, the Commission may, in the performance of its functions, work in cooperation with any person or body as it may deem appropriate. And then it says, the court may, on an application made by the Commission without notice, order any person or body to provide to the Commission any information or document which the court deems necessary to assist the Commission in carrying out its functions under this Act.
Right.
They could have done it under 7.3.
They could have done what?
They could have said, we're going to go, they could have gone to the court and said, Judge, we've asked the Prime Minister to provide information so we can complete this investigation, and he has refused. We're asking you to compel him to provide the information to us. And the court could have issued an order.
But then again, the DPP and the courts I don't know how the court system works, but isn't the DPP the head of all of the judges? The same one that has been operating against the Constitution, the same one that the Prime Minister and his government has backed up and gone to bat for and fought for to stay in power. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Jamaica is not a real place. The possibilities of corruption is endless in this country. Endless. It's really, really scary, low key. I ain't gonna lie to you. What?
Agree then? Do you agree then, or to what extent do you agree that the Integrity Commission, to some extent, has created this problem that we're now faced with? In fact, in that it didn't use the powers that it had to get the information that it required, and yet it put this document out into the public sphere, knowing this is an investigation into the Prime Minister. This is not no little ordinary investigation. People have been talking about this for years because the statutory declaration, and that was the first thing, and so on, and then the investigation and the report is out. Did they fail in their duty?
To some extent.
To some extent.
It did.
Right.
It did. Because if they had gone to court to force the Prime Minister's hand, we wouldn't be here. We would be somewhere else. But it didn't. And I've gone through the report. And like I said yesterday on my program, I'm looking at this through the lens of being a concerned Jamaican living in the diaspora. I'm looking at this through the lens of being an attorney. And I'm looking at this through the lens of being an investigator. And from my perspective, there are things that they could have done that they didn't do. On the other hand, there are things that they discovered that they're hamstrung by their own regulations and the law. For example,
wait, what?
You don't have to provide statements, like monthly statements. So what happens, you only have to provide for your bank account. You only have to provide what you have at the end of the period. You have at December 31st, what you have in it. So you could transact in your account millions of dollars throughout the year from January to December and not report that. Because the only thing that you have to report is what you have at the end of the year.
Come on, bro. Ain't no way, bro.
Hey, boy, ain't
no
way,
B.
boy.
Nah,
Boy, ain't no
come
way,
on.
boy.
Hey, Rattigan.
Boy, ain't no way.
Nah,
boy.
bro. You gotta be telling
no
lies,
way,
bro.
boy.
Nah, B.
Boy, ain't no way.
What?
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
What?
Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
And I'm sorry for the curse words on that soundbite, but man, listen. I had to play that, bro. What? So you telling me all they gotta present is what they have at the end of the year in their bank account? They don't need to provide, oh, you know what? I just sent through $40,000 million through this account. Before I left only $1 million in it. Huh? So doesn't that cripple the Integrity Commission's investigation on the actual thing? How are you going to identify corruption if you don't have the statements of every transaction that was made in an account? What? Nah, B. Jamaica is really... Yeah, I'm with Kabu on this one. The entire system needs to be torn down. First, you got to figure out where the loopholes are. Then you got to tear down the system and build it so that those loopholes don't exist no more. Because there should never be a situation that what I just heard a while ago. Nah. Let's play that back.
statement. So what happens, you only have to provide for your bank account. You only have to provide what you have at the end of the period. You have at December 31st, what you have in it. So you could transact in your account millions of dollars throughout the year from January to December and not report that. Because the only thing that you have to report is what you have at the end of the year.
But, and this is the point I'm making out. But what this does is to leaves it so wide open. And this is why we have a tribalist response to the Integrity Commission report. We're trying to be objective in this space. We cannot allow Jamaica to descend down the tribalist path that we see with going, just everybody reading the same report and coming out with all kinds of stuff. Obviously, you're saying they're hamstrung by their own the
system
ineffectiveness.
Yeah, and just to divert a little bit, give you an example. Section 53.3, the gag order. That should never have been there. And that thing is so confusing, because what it says is that as long as the matter is being investigated by the Director of Investigation, and until it's stable, you can't talk about it. Well, what about when the Director of Information and Complaints, what about him? When he has it and he's doing his preliminary investigation, can they talk about it according to the law? Yes.
So there are a lot of issues.
Yeah, I'm not with that gag order at all. I'm talking about at all. Yo, we need transparency. Shout out to my brother Patrick. He said, good morning, brother and sisters. Watching from Brandon Hill, St. Andrew. Good to be alive today. Hey, man, you already know. All praises to the Most High, man. All praises to the Most High. We still here. We still rocking, man. Remember to like and share, all right? Thank you kindly. Oh, and if you want to donate to the platform, the donation link is always pinned at the top of the comment section. Let's go.
Regarding the Integrity Commission itself and the mandate that it has and the tools that it has and whatever you call the protocols and policies and so on. So there has to be a second look. My friend Yvonne Brown, who's also an attorney, sent me a Gleaner article last week when I was doing this, because Valerie Anita was raising the question about which model are we using for the Integrity Commission in Jamaica, because she says usually we look at other countries and take the best from them. And so she sent me an article that was written by Mr. Golding that pointed to Sierra Leone, that that Jamaica used the model from Sierra Leone. And the point I made then was that hence a confusion, because Sierra Leone is having no better time, as a matter of fact, worse time than we're having, and is still one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So they never meant to address corruption.
So wait, you telling me, Kabu, you telling me that they have adopted a model from a country that is just as corrupt as we are?
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass.
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right. Tell about them.
So what about Singapore? I've been hearing the UIC president talk about Singapore. Why are we not modeling a lot of our things off Singapore? Singapore is doing really, really well, prospering. They're not into nothing with nobody. They're not sending no troops over to Haiti. They're not getting involved in nobody's mess. They do trade. They do all types of things. Their people's educated, right? They're the top exporter, one of the top exporters of organic food all around the world. And they are as small as St. Thomas. But we are here in Jamaica, and one of our parishes is St. Thomas, obviously. And we're not exporting ish. Make it make sense, bro. Just make it make sense.
Was just smoke and mirrors, and if you were studying Sierra Leone, you'd have known that. So to take that into the Jamaican space was already the first mistake. So do you think then that there needs to be a revisit of the Integrity Commission and to say, maybe look at another country, best practices, and you know.
Absolutely. No, what people must remember is that the Integrity Commission is actually a combination of three Jamaican agencies, you know.
Yes.
The Contractor General, and there's another agency that dealt with corruption, and then there was one called the Integrity Commission. It's three agencies that they collapsed into one, and so we're going to make this a super agency because there was some overlapping functions, and so they said, look, you know what, to eliminate all that, let's just put all of these three agencies into one. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about it is that when I go through this, the act itself is woefully inadequate. I'm not a draftsman for legislation, but I can read and I have a pretty good sense of understanding. And this thing is just riddled with loopholes. Here's one of them. One of them is that if it says that a gift given to a politician over $100,000 Jamaican dollars must be reported. But if you get a gift from a relative, you don't have to report it. Now, when I hear something like that.
Yeah, something is seriously wrong there. Obviously. Yeah.
Very wrong.
Yes.
And so I have my look, the idea of having a super anti-corruption agency is a very noble idea. Yeah. It's a very good idea. But I think we need to wheel and come again.
Yeah.
Let me take a break and we'll come back and pick up right there.
Boy, listen, Rattigan is out here. Yo, I'm sorry, man. For the people that don't like the title, I put a question mark, but I may need to take off that question mark and put a full stop. Rattigan and Cabu expose JLP and PNP totally. Yeah, because we're talking about the Integrity Commission, and he's talking about the rules governing the Integrity Commission legislation. That's wild.
All right, so let me give you the time to say what's on your mind regarding.
Yeah, let me give another problem with the Integrity Commission. Yeah. It's made up of several divisions, and included in the IC is the corruption prosecutor. Now, one of the things that they don't do that they should do is that they should work under the intelligence fusion center, intelligence center concept, where you get everybody on the ground floor. From the moment you start the investigation, you get everybody. Instead, they continue to work in silos. So that's why you get the prosecutor saying at the end of the investigation, I disagree. Mm-hmm. If the prosecutor and the investigators were working together on the ground, they would come to the prosecutor and they would say, listen, we have these allegations. What do you think? And then the prosecutor would be able to guide them. Would be able to say, look, there are certain elements to this crime. And
I see what he's saying. He's saying that they should be working together so to make sure that whatever case that they're coming up with is solid, instead of them doing their thing separately and then giving it to the prosecutor to say, what is the verdict on this? No. While they're doing it, I agree with him. I agree with him. They should be working together the whole time. That's how you're going to get a solid case. See, you got to remember the mind of Rattigan. He's coming from an agency where when they prosecute somebody, they got a 99% conviction rate. 99. That's tough. Yo, that's tough. 99% conviction rate, the FBI. That's tough. That means they really sit down and observe criminals and go through and make sure they got an ironclad case before they pounce on them. Think about it.
Pieces of evidence that I need to prove this. So go out and get this, because otherwise I cannot prosecute. Mm-hmm. Nobody would even know about this. But instead they work in silos, and then they turn the report over. Then she said, oh, legally this is not sound. And then there's a problem. That's one. Number two, let me tell you about the burrito loan and tell you why I think that there is something woefully wrong with this prime minister and he must have come clean. He got a loan from Burrito for $50 million. When he applied for the loan and got the loan, he said, for collateral, I'm putting up a fire insurance policy, I'm putting up property, and I'm putting up shares. These three things I'm putting up to get this $50 million loan. The City Commission found out in its investigation that when he got the loan, he had none of these things. None of them. The property, he did not own the property until 6 months after he got the loan. Mm-hmm. The share.
Isn't that fraud? I'm just asking. How do you put up assets for a loan and you don't own the assets until 6 months later? Isn't that fraud? Isn't that like one of the top crimes in the world? I'm just asking. How is that possible? How is that legal? How is this man not in court? How, Sway? Yo, this is wild, man.
he did not get. He did not. He used the loan to buy the shares. He did not have the shares when he got the loan. And the fire insurance.
He used the loan to buy the shares when he did not have the shares when he got the loan. He used the loan to buy the shares, and the shares was what he used to get the loan. This is so confusing.
When he got the loan, he had none of these things. None of them. The property, he did not own the property until 6 months after he got the loan. The shares, he did not get. He did not. He used the loan to buy the shares. He did not have the shares when he got the loan.
Exactly. So the shares that he used as collateral to get the loan, he got the loan and then used the money from the loan to buy the shares. Yo, bro, what is going on right now? Oh my God, man, this is not funny, but it's funny at the same time. Oh Jesus, what is going on right now?
That is funny, honey. That's funny. Oh my God, that is funny.
You get the loan before you. I mean, how does he even get the loan, bruh? He don't own the shares. He don't own nothing. And then when he get the loan, he purchased the shares, bro. This is high levels. I'm talking about high levels. This sound like high levels of coercion. It's just bad. And we're talking about the Prime Minister of Jamaica, bro. Yo, this is wow. And all of this is in the IC report. So we're talking about what was reported in the IC report. Every inch of the laws in Jamaica is touched by conjure. So which one can trust nowadays? Hey, listen, that's a good point. What law can we trust? This man is about to take out, if not already take out, impeachment out of the Constitution. So they can't get locked up. Man.
And the fire insurance, there's no fire insurance policy.
Right. And so, and as you said at the beginning,
there's no fire insurance policy. And that was a part of the collateral to get the loan? Oh, come on, man. What?
Something not right, my wisdom warriors. Something is not right. Tell about them.
How do people come on the internet? And I'm talking about Jamaicans. How do you come on the internet and defend this man? Did y'all read the report? Did y'all hear anybody that reported on the report talk about the report, and then you read it and go to the sections that they're talking about and fact check what they said? And you telling me you on here defending the Prime Minister? You telling me you are defending this man, and you think there's nothing wrong with any of this? That there isn't any possibility that this man could be guilty of the worst? This is what you're telling us. This is what you're trying to convince us. Man, listen. And Eratigan is going as far as, yo, even the IC, like, he don't understand why they didn't do this and this and this. Right? And who made these laws and put them in place for this, like, those people should be questioned because it don't make no sense. Boom, boom. He laying it out, bruh. The link to the video is in the description. Y'all can go listen it yourself and dissect it. The man is a headache. Yo, listen, man. I don't think he's gonna run nowhere, man. Listen, it's just God, man. God has to deal with this man, bro. Because what we talking about, the IC, that is just the tip of the iceberg. This report is just a little peek in the window, is my belief, of how far this rabbit hole goes. Scary stuff. Scary times we're living in Jamaica, man.
The IC, one of the definitive statements is that the Prime Minister lied in the report.
Yes.
In terms of as far as definitive statements go, though, it's woefully inadequate. I mean, there's hardly anything there for us to hang, and a peg for us to hang our hats on, apart from, as you said, the Prime Minister now has to come to us. But why, after so many months of investigation, we still have this massive, this wide gap that, you put out a report, but you never put out a report. This is my point. You put out a report and you're creating more confusion. There are more questions than answer. What's your thinking on the members going before the committee, called to report before the committee?
Well, here's the thing. Keep in mind that the oversight committee, they're not there to, my understanding is that they're not there to question the findings or the judgment of the IC. That is between the Integrity Commission, the corruption prosecutor, the courts, the commission, and there's a person we should not leave out, the DPP. Because
What? The DPP? So the DPP is involved in what? Hold up.
Here's the thing. Keep in mind that the oversight committee, they're not there to, my understanding is that they're not there to question the findings or the judgment of the IC. That is between the Integrity Commission, the corruption prosecutor, the courts, the commission, and there's a person we should not leave out, the DPP.
So you telling me the DPP is able to question the Integrity Commission? It makes sense. Allegedly, if that's the case, it does make sense. But the same one that they have been advocating for, that they don't want to let go. I wonder why. Ladies and gentlemen, this is when you talk about bangarang, when you talk about soap opera, and I'm not talking about the nice kind, I'm talking about the dark, deep, evil type of soap opera. Yep. Mafia family type soap opera. Yeah. That's what all of this sounds like. And allegedly, it seems as if our Prime Minister of Jamaica is the head of it. But I want to open the phone lines, man.